Yeah, I got into Berserk in 2006 when my friend Ek introduced me to it. I watched all the 25 anime episodes in one go, and then it was such a cliffhanger that I had to know how it continues, so that's how I started to read the manga, and been reading it ever since. And unfortunately the author passed away this year and the story never gets to finish, but at least he left behind him this huge story that you always can go back to and find new inspirations and beautiful art. If I would have to choose between Star Wars and Star Trek, I would choose Star Wars, simply because I am not so familiar with Star Trek. I know of it, I've seen some movies and some episodes, but to me Star Wars is more inspiring, maybe because I'm still not so familiar with Star Trek. And I just admire George Lucas, for many reasons, that because when he started Star Wars, he wasn't actually aware, no one was aware that okay, this is gonna be a blockbuster film. There was no such term in existence before Star Wars, and that was actually the first blockbuster movie ever in the history. Yeah, and generally in the 80s and 90s, there are so many great movies that to this day I can go back to those same ones that I've watched, and I can rewatch them and get inspired, like the classics, Blade Runner, the Terminator, and the Matrix from the 90s. That was really something, like, again, they did something really, they were pioneers of something in the movie industry at least, because the book Neuromancer, that was actually the one that came up with cyberspace, the concept of that. But then was it 15 years later comes this movie Matrix that has so many elements from the book Neuromancer that came in 84, and Matrix came, I think it was 99 or something, but still it hadn't been done in the big screen, but it was already in the 80s in a book form. So in that sense, that is really like a movie I admire. So many sci-fi animes that I really like, but I've mentioned those already, like Armitage the Third, Battle Angel Alita, Cyber City 080808, Ghost in the Shell. There's still many stories and films and books from the 80s and 90s to find. Like, it's a treasure chest. That's why I don't even watch that much new movies, new films. Occasionally I check out some new sci-fi stuff, but then it seems so like soulless. It's just this pattern stuff. Basically these Marvel movies and DC movies, they just repeat the same kind of pattern, and well, soulless to me. But in the 80s and 90s they were more brave to tell the actual original stories, and that's the best. Those two are the best decades, my favorite decades, so to speak. Cannot say if they are the best, but at least my favorites. And one funny thing regarding like this sci-fi anime and Dark Connection is that when in 2019 we were playing in Japan in one of the shows, after we finished the show, went to bow down to the audience, and then there's this one man who kind of pushes himself as close as possible to the front row. He's trying to give me something, and okay, he gives it to me. It's a DVD. I look at it, it's Armitage the Third, and I was like thinking, how can he know? Because I haven't spoken about it to anyone, that this Armitage the Third is one of the main like animes that will influence the upcoming album Dark Connection, which was already brewing in my mind in 2019. Like, and that was really spooky. Like this is a sign, or universe is trying to tell something that okay, this must be right, keep it this way. And but that anime was like original, authentic Japanese without English subtitles or English dubbing. So I tried to watch it, but I didn't understand. Though of course I remember the dialogues and monologues more or less. But that was really like something that stuck to my mind. Like I always remember, like how is that possible? Like out of all the animes, I get that one that is the main influence for the upcoming album, and no one knows about it.